Hello and welcome. You have tuned into Market Cafe right here on ET Now. I'm Shrishti Sharma, and in the next 1 hour, we're going to be keeping you and making you ready rather for India's today's trading session, and not just tell you what the global stories are that you need to focus on, but also tell you the stocks that you should be keeping on your radar. So let's get started, and firstly, let's put the spotlight on the US markets and what sort of a trading action is what we get to see. Yes, of course, the weakness continues with respect to the move that we have seen in the tech shares specifically, because just yesterday as well, it was Nasdaq that declined the most, with almost 1.5% of cuts coming in over there. With respect to S&P 500, there too we have seen a bit of a decline coming in. S&P 500 declined almost 0.5%, while Dow Jones, that gained almost 260 odd points. It was the chip makers that were indeed down. AMD was down almost 18%. Along with that, with respect to Boston Scientific shares, that too plunged almost 17%. But add to that is Cognizant. The company did come out with its earnings, and we have seen the company did beat its Q4 estimates and guidance as well, and the stock was seen to be gaining almost 2.7% in yesterday's trading session. When it comes to the other markets as well, especially European markets, there we have seen a bit of a decline coming in, or rather a mixed trade, wherein FTSE gained almost 1% and CAC was also up. So all in all, the tech shares were indeed something that were on the back foot, while Dow Jones did gain more than 200 points in yesterday's trading session. So that's all about the US market, but let's also quickly tell you what all is happening within the crude basket as well. And there we have seen that crude as of now is trading flat, no significant moves over there. But the bigger ask is that the US-Iran talks, that ease supply fears, and the crude futures were seen to be snapping its two-day advances, while Tehran confirms that there are talks with Washington this week. Uncertainty over scope of US-Iran negotiations was something that weighed heavy on the crude oil prices. But along with that, what we are getting to see is the kind of move in the gold and silver prices, because they are turning to be very volatile. Just yesterday on an intraday basis, we have seen gold and silver actually falling from their higher levels. But as of now, in the morning, we have seen both of them gaining smartly. Gold is higher by almost 1%, is trading above that $5,000 per ounce mark, while silver too, just yesterday we have seen it climbing to yet again to that $91 per ounce mark, but as of now it's 88 level that is holding as we speak. But Bitcoin as well is the other talking point, because Bitcoin sings as Besant dismisses the bailout. So that's about the stories that we are tracking at this point in time. But with this, viewers, let's also tell you the latest coming in from the US President Donald Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping, because both of them held a wide-ranging call pledging closer cooperation and big good outcomes. Now, Xi urged stronger communication and mutual trust, while warning that Taiwan remains a red line. Trump said that the talks covered trade, security, and tend to set minimum prices for critical minerals and build joint stockpiles. Now, Trade Chief Jamison Greer says that the plan aims to protect supply chains from disruption and cut reliance on China. The shares of MP Materials and USA Rare Earth fell sharply on the news. Washington is also backing the miners like Lithium American, signaling deeper state involvement in strategic resources. And US-Iran tensions continue, as Trump warned that Iran's supreme leader Ali Khamenei should be very worried. Oil prices remained volatile amid the fears of supply disruption as Washington threatens the strike over Tehran's nuclear program. However, talks are still planned in Oman on Friday, according to Iran's foreign minister Abbas. And Alphabet says its capital spending in 2026 could nearly double to as much as $185 billion as it accelerates investments in AI infrastructure. The company is pouring money into data centers, servers and networks to ease and compute the constraints. Google Cloud posted 48% revenue growth, outpacing rivals like Microsoft. CEO Sundar Pichai says the AI investments are now driving growth across the business. But with this, viewers, let me put the spotlight on Apple, because Apple is gearing up to expand its retail presence in India. ET Now exclusively learns that India's Pearl City, Hyderabad, is all set to get its first Apple retail store, now making it the 7th store in India. Sumita Karir is here with the exclusive details. Sumita.
That's right. Exclusive sources are telling us that Apple has plans of further expanding in India as far as its retail presence is concerned. In fact, the next store is going to come up in Hyderabad. Exclusive sources have told ET Now. In fact, this store will be Apple's 7th retail store, and this will go live in early 2027 in an upcoming mall in Hyderabad. In fact, the same has also been indicated by job postings of a store leader, senior manager, and a genius, amongst others. Now, retail expansion is part of Apple's broader India strategy. Apple launched the Mumbai and Delhi stores in 2023. The Pune, Noida and Bengaluru stores were launched in 2025. One additional Mumbai store is coming up in Borivali as well. In fact, the new Hyderabad store is also going to be working on the same format as other stores, and it will feature Apple products, accessories, personalized assistance from specialists, hands-on service sessions, repair support, and repair and device services as well. Now, Apple's retail expansion plans, well, this is in addition to Apple's manufacturing, which has been consistently scaled up over the past couple of years. In fact, iPhone exports from India, they crossed $50 billion in December 2025, and iPhone exports crossed approximately $16 billion in the first 9 months. And these manufacturing units are operated by Foxconn and Tata, and of course the company has also plans of expanding its export operations as far as electronics components are concerned. In fact, Tim Cook has been rather bullish, and he has consistently stated what he thinks about the India market in one earnings call after another. In fact, in the latest one as well, which was in Q1 FY26, he said that, and I quote, "We set quarterly revenue records on iPhone, Mac and iPad, and an all-time revenue record on services." So it was a terrific quarter in India. But now this one retail store coming up in Hyderabad, well, this is going to be a shot in the arm as far as Apple's retail expansion plans here in the country are concerned.
Thank you so much, Sumita, for getting us all those details. Now, bringing the budget discussions on ground. ET Now is hosting the India Investment Summit in Mumbai this Friday. Thought leaders, visionary policymakers, investors, MSMEs and innovators will unravel the union budget of 2026, analyze its impact and chart the country's economic direction for the year ahead. The summit puts the spotlight on India's BFSI sector at the pivotal moment between tariffs, currency valuations, union budget implications and the forthcoming financial year. Tune in to ET Now, India Investment Summit. But with this, viewers, it's time now to slip into a very short break. We'll be right back.
Things which are going to remain in closed files. They are public documents. It will come out. You'll know what is being given, what is being taken, what is reciprocity, and how much is our export getting access for, what are we going to import. Everything is going to come out to you. How many are going to come into effect when the agreement takes effect. It'll come into force from at the time of effect itself. Some come into effect after a year, some after 2 years, and so on. All this is going to come out.
Cub, when?
The statement was not even given. You didn't allow it.
But the press conference happened. No questions were taken. No responses are given to the leader of opposition in Parliament.
Right? Would you want him to say everything in the media before you say it in the Parliament?
Because Parliament, you're not answering. So you came to the media and you spoke. Not too many details there either. The question I'm asking is, and when Rahul Gandhi tweets on 3 issues, on national security, on the trade deal and on Epstein files, he's raised 3 issues. On none of these are there any clear answers. He may have a point.
A leader of opposition, any time he asks a question or tweets or stands up to speak, has a point. I'm not denying that. But the point sometimes is not substantiated with facts. They are insinuations sometimes. I'm not saying every time. But even if it is an insinuation, we are ready to give a reply, provided you want to hear it. What is the record of our leader of opposition? He's not there, or if he's there, he's sleeping, or if he's there, he doesn't even allow the Prime Minister to speak. How many times when he has been present in the House, his party has created such a halla. Despite that, the Prime Minister speaks, irrespective of the levels to which they go to disturb him. Didn't they stand, even as he was standing and speaking in the well, right under his nose, and throwing and showing placards? Even then the PM replied. He would reply. But you were never willing to hear. And I know sometimes, even after that, when they stand up, when he stands up, or one of our ministers stands up to reply, they walk away. The walkout happens without listening. So did you ask questions for no reply situation? Or did you walk out because you were scared that we'll come up with the facts and you don't want to face the facts? You walk out? I'll give you any number of examples where questions were asked, where we take the question seriously. And when we want to reply and we get up to reply, the leader of the opposition leads his flock out of the House. How is that?
Today, of course, I mean, every session we somehow, as people of India, we look at the proceedings in Parliament and things. I mean, it's as bad as it can get. It probably can't get worse.
No.
But then this session and today, there was tearing of papers, there was all kinds of things. The chair was called...
Throwing it at the chair.
And the chair was called Yar. And, you know, are we in this posturing, in this war between the opposition benches? I mean, 8 MPs have been suspended. Where do you think are we going to go from there? And just because there is going to be a standoff between the opposition benches and the treasury benches in Parliament, will the country remain in the dark? Is a question a hapless citizen of India is asking.
Rightly. And I appreciate that. But we are not wanting to keep the citizen in the dark. We are not wanting to keep the Parliament in the dark. We want to respond, if only there's an opportunity given.
So let me ask you, on the agriculture sector, the statements that are in public domain, what does it mean? Farm goods from the United States of America, will they be free to come into the Indian market?
I don't know the details of the agreement, but I will assure you that farmers' interests, dairy interests are intact.
If you don't know the details, how can you assure?
Because before the negotiations, when all of us have spoken to each other, very clearly these were red lines given. So that to that extent I know. But the details will tell you where, how,
where
what.
Are these details?
You're going around in circles, Navika.
No, are these details in Washington or are they in New Delhi?
Both sides put their negotiation details and have it agreed, have whatever the level of agreement. So both sides have their own documents, don't they? So the Commerce Minister will tell you about it.
Ms. Nirmala Sitharaman, on the question of oil, if we have given an undertaking as per what's available in public domain, that we will not buy cheaper Russian oil and we will now source our energy needs from the United States and Venezuela, can you assure this country that this will be at a price advantage to India rather than more expensive? Or do we see the energy burden and prices of petroleum products going up in the near future?
Navika, all these months, in fact years, hasn't Prime Minister Modi taken every decision keeping India's interest top of the priority? He has very clearly chosen India's interest on the top of anything else. Even at a time when war was escalating, even at a time when sanctions were being imposed, we kept India's interest at the top, which is what he'll do every time. I think the people of India trust Prime Minister Modi. You can ask questions, but I'm sure you will get the reply anywhere you ask that the Indian interests will never be compromised by Prime Minister Modi.
The opposition says this is surrender 2.0. The first time we surrendered was when the ceasefire information came from Washington by President Trump. That was surrender number 1. And now this is surrender number 2.0 because we get information first from Washington than from New Delhi. How do you respond to the opposition?
No, on the what you may call as whatever, surrender 1, surrender 2, surrender 1 and all that. You had response coming from Government of India. You very clearly understood that we've said that there was no interference by anybody in that matter.
Post facto. The first info came
Never mind, but a statement very clearly saying nobody interfered. Doesn't that show that India's interest has been kept on the top? And we didn't surrender. So now, till yesterday, the media themselves were saying what dire provocations, what kind of a, taunt and whatever was happening. PM kept his cool. Everybody recognized that. And suddenly overnight you seem to go back to play the same game. India's interests will never be compromised by Prime Minister Modi. Let's not constantly keep questioning it only because there is somebody who has been doing only this to dishonor the government of India, even when he is outside, not just when he's in the parliament, where he has every right to ask us questions. To make Indian government appear irresponsible or appear as though it doesn't care for its citizens, that's been the job of the leader of the opposition. I hope Indian media is not getting carried away by that.
In terms of investments and job creation, because unemployment, once again, after falling to a low of 3.2% end of 24, is back a tad higher at 4.9. Do you think that's an area of worry? And do you think, investments will really pick up to take care of this unemployment rate?
I think unemployment is an issue which we are very seriously addressing, not just through budget, but even otherwise. Skilling them, upskilling people, creating a portal where matchmaking can happen for skills that are available and the jobs that are being offered and so on. And the government jobs are being filled up since 22, I think, November. No vacancies are left, or in the sense sanctioned positions are not left unoccupied. So government jobs are getting filled up. We are creating opportunities for people to become entrepreneurs. Even if they don't get jobs, they can run their own show, so on. So it is not a one-dimensional issue of addressing jobs. It is looking at the entire gamut of what makes productive work so that people can earn out of it. So for each one of the sectors, we are looking at skilling people, giving them the opportunities, exposing them to different companies through internship schemes and so on. So government has not sat back on the requirement of the youth.
Let me also ask you, just after the budget presentation, the markets really went into a free fall, almost about 1,500 odd points down. And then this morning, they've really woken up to the great cheer. I don't know, maybe about the Indo-US trade deal, which we don't know much about. Were you worried then, and are you satisfied today?
No, the correction that I did by raising the STT on futures and options is the correction which was much needed. We've had people calling us saying people are losing money heavily. It was not just anecdotal. There are studies to show how 90% of the people who were participating in futures and options market were losing heavily, 90%. And therefore, to deter that,
the speculative forces.
Yes. Many of the Hindi newspapers have reported that is exactly where the satta operations happen. And therefore, we've raised it a little bit, not with revenue consideration, but clearly making sure that that deters people from going in.
But then why did the markets get spooked if it was for their benefit?
If it is for the benefit of those who are entering the futures, they are not the ones who are probably leading to the negative sentiment.
And the reaction today, almost 2,400 points up.
Because we explained it out, saying we have not treated all the STTs for a hike. It is only the STT which is on future and options. The others we have not even gone anywhere near.
So the markets today did not react to the trade deal.
Maybe they reacted to the trade deal also. I'm not saying any one particular reason is the one. There can be a blend of reasons. They're probably also sensing that a lot of investments are likely to come. There can be many more things.
The opposition also has raised the issue of how, as a percentage of the overall budget, allocations for health, allocations for education have actually come down from the past to this year's budget, which they question your priorities in terms of commitment to these sectors.
If I want to give a response which is going to be harmless, did they read the budget, Navika? Allied health service workers, medical hub, tertiary sector workers, animal husbandry in rural areas, and veterinary doctors, veterinary surgeons, and waterways, fishermen who are going into deep sea to get fish from the economic zone, the rare earth corridor. Have they at least gone through it? 3 major All India institutes for Ayurvedic treatment. Here in Delhi you have. I still don't get the name of the place, somewhere in Mathura Road. One of the best Ayurvedic care centers. We are opening 3 of them. So I just want to understand health, then education. There is going to be a standing committee which will tell how education, skilling and entrepreneurship can all be brought together even in the institutions before students leave them, so that they come out better trained. That requires money. Health, I'm giving this. Education, I'm doing that. I'm also saying there can be 5 educational hubs. These are not education and health.
The point they are making is that outlays for these sectors compared to the overall budget allocation, the percentage has gone down, even though allocations in real
They have not gone down. The BE to B you compare, nothing has come down.
Favorably because of the mix, and that was in the favor of West Side and lower employee cost as well. But the management did indicate that the benefits of the automations are now realized, and that might help their margins going ahead. But brokerages, all in all, have actually gone ahead and cut the target price on Trent. Along with that, with respect to Tata Power, there we have seen that Mundra shutdown is once again weighing heavy on the company's earnings, where this time around the revenue has seen a decline of 9%. That is below the estimates, and so is EBITDA, that has seen a fall of 9% on a YY basis, but the brokerages are hopeful that the company will resolve its issue in the times going ahead, while most of the brokerages have actually held their target price. Metropolis too came out with its numbers, and this time around we are seeing the revenue has seen a jump of 26% on a YY basis, while the EBITDA has been clocked at 9.5%. So let's watch out for this counter. Welspun Enterprise is the next stock that we're going to be talking about, and this time around we have seen Welspun's overall revenue that has seen a decline of 12% on a YY basis. EBITDA also down 2%. Well, of course, all these tariff-related issues must have impacted the earnings, but now the visibility is quite good. EBITDA margin for the Q3 stood at 19.6%. Aptus Value did came out with its numbers as well, and a very good set coming in rather from Aptus, where the NII has seen a jump of 12%, while the profit has gained 24%. So let's watch out for this company. Swan Defense will also be in focus. Their loss has actually narrowed now from 53.3 crores of loss figure that was reported in Q3 of FY25. It's a 33.1 crore is what the company has reported. Arcane Chemicals, the next stock we're going to be talking about, where the numbers were below the street estimates. The revenue has seen, though, a jump of 5%, but that's below the street estimates, while EBITDA is down 32% on a YY basis. Cummins India will be in focus as well. Rather a good set coming in, though the revenue is down 1.3% on a YY basis. But look at the jump in their margins from 19.3% to 20.8% is what the company has reported. And lastly, Sathvik Green will be in focus, where Q3 snapshot, the revenue has seen a jump of 142% on a YY basis. EBITDA too has seen a triple-digit growth, and this is one of the recently listed companies and definitely doing very well off late.
Absolutely, Shrishti. So those are the counters that will be in focus on the back of the Q3 earnings. But there are more counters that will be in focus on the back of other news flow and order wins. And to get us a lowdown on those counters, let's get on board Ravinder, who's joining us with the other stocks that will be in news today. Ravinder, take us through all the stocks.
Well, on the back of acquisition, Marico can be in focus, where a company will acquire a 60% stake in digital-first function wellness brand Cosmix for approximately 226 crore, and this marks a significant expansion in the high-growth plant-based protein and premium nutrition sector. So, back of this acquisition, Marico can be in focus. Keep an eye on Mishra Dhatu on the back of their order win, when the company has secured a new order worth of rupees 158 crore, and the total order open order position now stand at 2,590 crore. Coal India can be in focus, where board has cleared chili arm for the lithium and copper, and board has also approved rupees 3,133 crore equity infusion into 50-50 joint venture with DVC, and this is to develop thermal and renewable energy project with a total indicative cost of 20,886 crore. Vari Energies can be in focus, where company's US-based subsidiary Vari Solar America INC has secured an international order to supply 150 megawatt of solar modules, and this is to leading independent power producer with deliveries scheduled across 2026 and 2027. IRB Infra can be in focus, where company's special purpose vehicle has executed a concession agreement with NHAI for the 74.5 kilometer TOT 18 project in Odisha, involving an upfront fee of 3,087 crore for the 20-year period. NHDL can be in focus, where company's IPO lock-in period will end today. So back of this, this stock can be in focus. Keep an eye on PV Fintech, where board meet is scheduled to held today on to consider a fundraise via QIP. And lastly, keep an eye on Piramal Pharma, where company has received a notice from the Gujarat Pollution and Control Board directing closure of operation of the company's plant located at Dahej, Gujarat, alleged violation under Section 33A of the Water Act 1974. So back of this, keep an eye on Piramal Pharma.
All right, thank you so much, Ravinder, for all those details. But with this time now to slip into a very short break, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on the other side.
रश्मि,
हाँ?
ये मैडम बड़े शहर से छोटे शहर बसने जा रही है, बताओ।
अंकल पागल, इंडिया के छोटे छोटे शहरों में ही तो है बड़े बड़े अखाड़े।
नए नए दावपेच सीखेगी और फ्यूचर में मेडल जीतेगी। और बेटा इनका फ्यूचर?
बड़े पापा, SBI लाइफ से इनका फ्यूचर सिक्योर है।
अभी तो इसकी जीत का इरादा पक्का है। करो पूरे।
The fact that the revenue pace or the growth, the pace of the growth for revenue has decelerated, and that trend continues because Q3 FY25 revenue growth was as high as 40%. That's come all the way down to 17% in the previous quarter and 16% for Q3. So the pace of revenue growing is continuing to come down, and analysts are estimating that 16% revenue growth is the slowest for Trent in at least a decade, barring the COVID years, of course. In terms of store count, 17 stores were added for Westside, 48 for Zudio, taking the total count to 278 for Westside and 854 for Zudio, including 4 in the UAE and other lifestyle concept stores at 32. The company says that they have over 1,100 large box fashion stores with presence across 274 cities. Footprint is now over 15 million square feet across their fashion brands. The Star business is expected to do well, 79 stores in all. And what's important to know is that the net profit this time around has been aided by the other income element, which has seen a 3 times jump, and the labor code impact for the company has been around 26 crore rupees. Some more highlights: the Q3 like-for-like growth was negative, marginally negative due to the shift in festive period. The 9-month like-for-like growth is in low single digit. Emerging categories like BPC, innerwear, footwear are doing well. Westside online revenues are up 38% year-on-year in Q3, so that looks good. Very quickly, taking you through the brokerage take, Citi has maintained its sell stance with a target price of 4350. You have Goldman Sachs, Jefferies, Morgan Stanley that have maintained their stance but cut the target price. Macquarie and Bernstein continue to maintain their price as well as their outperform rating, and UBS maintains buy rating, target price at 5,300 rupees per share. So that's a roundup on Trent. Revenue in line, but other metrics beat versus street estimates.
All right, so that's what the brokerages are saying as far as Trent is concerned on the strong quarter that Trent has delivered. We'll see how the stock reacts in the trading session, but with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Market Cafe. Shishti and I will take a leave. Thank you so much for tuning in.
पापा, इसमें क्या है?
इसमें देश है बेटा।
कितनी सड़कें, कितने पुल, कितने बांध, कितनी नदियां, कितनी सदियां, कितना आसमान अपनी गोद में लेके जा रही है ये। कितनी रोटियां, कितने खेत, भरे हुए कितने पेट, देखो कितना बड़ा अपना देश अपनी गोद में लेके जा रही है ये।